Blessings. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good overnight, wherever you may be across the world. I am the one and only Mr. LP Stephen Sykes of Enliven Global Media, and we are happy to hear for everybody to join. This is a very, very, very important show. Got a lot of good things, some goodness, some sadness, and other things, but very important stuff that we need to address. But before we go, we got to offer great respect and offer our introductions. The ladies always go first. So first and foremost, please allow me to introduce the wonderful and awesome Linda Maisha. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me, Mr. Stephen Sykes. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself for those, because it's been a while since you joined us. So can you
It
tell
has
us a little bit
been.
about
It's been
yourself?
quite some time. I am a consultant and virtual executive assistant. I do so many things. Call me the Jill of all trades.
Not a problem. All right. Do you see what we posted for you down there, just to let everybody know what you're all about?
Stephen Sykes. Oh, my Lord. Harry Potter
Yeah.
movie is a good one, though. I'll give you that one. I'll give you
Thank
the
you
Harry
so
Potter.
very much. Thank you so
That
very
you'll
much.
have to pay for.
That's no problem. Hey, it's cheesy, but it's correct.
No, it is not. Folks, don't listen.
and
Don't listen to
and
him.
then, now we were our lovely sister, our co-host Ross Silk is not here with us for the moment, but she's going to join us in a brief moment. But I have the legend, the king, the only black man that Donald Trump listens to. We have the wonderful Mr. Marcus J. How are you doing today?
I'm well, brother. I'm well, Mr. LP, sisters. I'm well. Thank you for having me. And no, I don't talk to that dude. So no, he don't listen to me. How you doing, Steven? It's good to see you,
I'm doing
brother.
all right. It's lovely to have my brother on here and things like
Yes,
that.
sir.
I
Glad to
miss
be
my
here.
man. We try to we pick each other and things like that, but I got to make sure we keep each other on point, and I appreciate it. What do you
Yes.
say? Iron sharpens iron.
Iron
Some good.
sharpens iron, brother. Iron
All
sharpens
right,
iron.
so it's good, good. For those you've been a while from the show, so for those who don't know, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a retired talk show host and podcaster, and spend a lot of time doing that as a vocation. But I'm retired now. I enjoy spending time with my friends and joining podcasts when I'm asked. And so, of course, you call me, I'm coming. I'm a yogi. I spend most of my free time that I used to devote to radio, on a yoga mat somewhere. And I'm blessed, bro. I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be middle-aged and feisty.
Amen, amen. We're
Yes,
gonna have
sir.
it. And then definitely next, and definitely not least, our lovely sister Ross Silk. How are you doing?
Everybody, and I'm getting crazy feedback, so I don't know what that is, but I'm happy to be here. But we're gonna log off this thing and get something right going, so I don't sound like the chipmunks is talking for me. So I'll be right back with
Not a problem. Not a problem. I don't know what happened there. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, it was tripping off real bad. So I do apologize, everybody. We're definitely gonna go from there. So so here today, we want to go ahead and title this show "Safe Passage: Protecting Our Kids, Claiming Our Getaway," and this is just a very troubling situation and things, and I'm going to break down the details of it as I go, because there's a lot of missing information, a lot of news going on about it, and then there was a uh, press conference earlier today, and we have to really step back and think about it, because I want everybody to lock in and excellence today. And again, uh, as I say, self passage, let me start it this way. Because somewhere out there, a mother is sitting quiet in a house that used to have a lot of noise in it. There's a father sitting back quietly worrying about his son and daughter. Um, his name is on the case on somebody. It's going to be on a case on a coffin sometime soon, and that name is Nolan Wells, an 18-year-old man, and who went out on a celebrate the 4th of July with his friends and never came home. Now, hear me when I say that we don't have every answer yet. The autopsy is pending. They're doing a separate autopsy, and the truth is that it's still walking its way to the light. But we're not here to trade in rumors. We're here to demand what the family deserves, the whole truth out loud and into the light, into the daylight, I should say. But let me tell you what's on tonight was really about, because I could sit here heartbroken and I could be very mad and yelling, or I could get honest with you. And the honest in this world is we have to get our houses in order, very much so, because that's what's missing. We plan to cook out better than we can do when we planning our safety when there's times of bad times. A lot of kids don't even know where their emergency kit is in their own home. We know who's bringing to a potato salad, but we don't know where our kids go, and if they can swim or not to swim or what have you. We'll drive 6 hours to go to a getaway, but never talk about what to do, what happens if something does go wrong. How do we plan? So not tonight, and definitely not after tonight, and not after the show, because a getaway is supposed to be a blessing, not a gamble on your family's life. Our children are supposed to come home with sand in their shoes and stories and tracking sand, yelling at them about tracking sand in the house, not crying in tears, not knowing that they're never going to come home again. So tonight we're going to do a little bit of work. With travel safety with our babies, talk about some Black resorts, and a little bit of trivia to help enrich our minds, and also the truth, always the truth, because our hashtag, we tell the truth around here. Before I continue, I want to let everybody get their thoughts in on the Nolan Wells situation. I'll start with you, Miss Linda.
My thoughts are that this is something that is old and yet new. You now see, like you said, Mr. Sykes, you now see a lot of kids not knowing basic information that they should know. As simple as what a first aid kit is and where to find it, right? We need to start teaching kids more. Times are getting harder for them to be a child. They're having to grow up long before they need to. That there is my thought.
Okay. Marcus J.
Man, there's so many places you can go with this one, right?
Hit them all,
First place I'm gonna go is, like, I got brothers who I've been with since I was a child. I'm 52 years old, and we still together. And there's no way we get on a boat with white people, and when it's time to leave, we not all leaving together. I say with white people, some folks gonna be in their feelings about that, but the reality is race matters in this world, especially in this country. And we are irresponsible if we act like it don't. So let's just be clear. I'm not somebody that's gonna cast aspersions on someone because they have white friends or Black friends if you happen to be white. I don't care about none of that. I don't. But sometimes optics matter. And okay, maybe he met a girl on the island, he was trying to get with her. No. Because if that's what you want me to believe, you really must think that I'm boo-boo the fool. You don't leave your friends. You do not leave your friends. Friends. Air quotes, emphasis on the word friends. Don't leave your friends. So I obviously just brought up reasonable doubt around, are we actually friends? Which brings up reasonable doubt around what actually happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen this movie before. There's precedent for it. The Black friend, the one out the whole crew, everybody else is white. Everybody's having a great time until the Black friend ends up dead. Then all of a sudden, it's not a great time no more. And all the white friends is quiet about what actually happened. Like, come on, man. We've seen this before. So the family got to do their due diligence and get their autopsies and figure out what his cause of death was. I'm going to tell you this. If there wasn't no water in his lungs, somebody going to have a whole lot of explaining to do beyond what they already got. So I could say more. I think I said enough, at least as an opening salvo.
All right. Silk.
I totally agree with both what Linda and Marcus said. I think the other thing too is Marcus just hit on something that I've been questioning, and it's something that I've been talking to. We all have that conversation with our kids, is knowing the difference between your friends and a colleague and an associate, right? Because just because they invite you to the picnic or to their boats or whatever doesn't necessarily mean they're your friends, especially considering that he was a popular jock in school. Okay, and everybody wants to be with the cool kids, right? Everybody wants to hang out with the jock. It could be something as simple as one of them wanted to holler at the young lady and she showed more interest in him. The bottom line is that for me and my friends, we roll together. Okay, we don't leave each other. We come together, we leave together. I think the other thing too is knowing that one, and I apologize if y'all get some background. I don't know what that is, but I think the other thing too is keep in mind one of those boys' mother is a judge. Okay. And so in knowing that, I think that is very critical that that family get that body out of Mississippi as quickly as possible and get an independent body to do the autopsy. I would not trust those people in that municipal to create the narrative of how they believe my son expired. I just would not. Marcus J hit on it when he said, "We seen this movie before. We seen the black woman that went to the slumber party with all her white friends, and they found her dead the next morning outside, and nobody knows why. We seen this over and over again, and so." As a mother, and especially as a mother or son, I'm cautious when my son say I'm going to hang out with such and such, okay, and where we're going, because even let's just say, even if some of the white people you hang out are cool with you, that doesn't mean the environment that you're going into and the other people that's in that environment are going to be cool with you. So I'm gonna just pinpoint there for right now.
This reminds me of the situation, two situations that hit me in the head. The young man that was found in the gym dead, wrapped up, and then they found newspaper in his body, and things of that in the situation. Then there was the situation, and please forgive me, I want to make sure I got this young lady's name right, Kanika Jenkins, where you could hear the woman audibly being attacked, assaulted, raped, and then they found her, she was wandering in the hotel. She was 16, 17, 18, something like that. The family brought the hotel room, and then she wandered in the hotel, and it was locked in a freezer to some point. These situations where you're going out with, as they say, friends, end quotes. And you got to be careful about who you choose in your friends. And even as those who grew up lifelong friends, you got to be careful of how things go, because they're not around you 24/7. You don't know what's going on. You don't know the dynamics of the homes, the situations, and things going on. So we have to be mindful of this. There's some other issues I want to bring up regarding all of this, but before I go, I want to offer, for those who may not be familiar with the story, and I want to offer due justice. There was a press conference earlier today. I have not gotten the information for the press conference that happened at noon yet. So the video of that has not come out widely spread yet, but I do have some information that came out. It's about 3 minutes long, but I ask everybody to bear with me. But here's this from the news.
The search for answers in the mysterious death of Nolan Wells after a July 4th boating trip. Authorities are again asking the public for any information, including videos possibly connected to the case. Alex Perez has been on this story for us and has the latest. Good morning again, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. The family of Nolan Wells says they need answers on what happened to their son, and they're hoping their new attorney will help get some of those answers. This morning, the hunt for clues as Nolan Wells' loved ones fight for answers in the 18-year-old's death. Investigators renewing their request for the public's help, asking anyone on Horn Island July 4th to contact them if they had any interactions with Nolan Wells, possess any unedited photos and videos taken on the northwest tip of the island, or observed an argument, disturbance, or other unusual activity.
Now, if we can get...
I'm sorry, say that again, ma'am.
I didn't hear anything on my end.
Did y'all hear it, the others?
I did. I was able to hear it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Long as y'all got it, I'm good.
Okay, let's figure out what's going on here. I'm sorry about that.
The search for answers in the mysterious death of Nolan Wells after a July 4th boating trip. Authorities are again asking the public for any information, including videos possibly connected to the case. Alex Perez has been on this story for us and has the latest. Good morning again, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. The family of Nolan Wells says they need answers on what happened to their son, and they're hoping their new attorney will help get some of those answers. This morning, the hunt for clues as Nolan Wells' loved ones fight for answers in the 18-year-old's death. Investigators renewing their request for the public's help, asking anyone on Horn Island July 4th to contact them if they had any interactions with Nolan Wells, possess any unedited photos and videos taken on the northwest tip of the island, or observed an argument, disturbance, or other unusual activity.
Now, if we can get those that actually were there and true witnesses to come forward to us, we'd be grateful for that. That would greatly help our investigation.
The beloved football player and a group of friends were celebrating Independence Day on the popular, undeveloped, 10-mile-long barrier island just south of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. New video showing the remote location, which is accessible only by private boat. Wells was last seen alive 3 p.m. Saturday. Family members identified remains discovered off the shore Monday morning. Overnight, their attorney Ben Crump telling our Lindsay Davis they now have questions about his cell phone.
The fact that then when the family gets the cell phone back, Lindsay, they're saying they are trying to understand why they're deleted messages. And so it's very concerning to them.
Ashley Cole, a Mississippi Chancery judge and mother of one of the friends who was on Horn Island with Wells, speaking out on social media to dispel some rumors with facts, writing, "Our son Warren loved Nolan dearly." Cole, who had deactivated her account as her son and other friends faced scrutiny after Wells' death, returning to Facebook saying Warren was interviewed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and cooperated fully. Cole says her son left Wells before returning to the mainland because the boat was taking on water and had a mechanical issue. Nolan, she said, made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. Wells' family attorneys plan to conduct an independent autopsy and investigation.
We're trying to be very transparent because the family has some concerns about the state of Mississippi doing an investigation of the death of a young black man.
Wells' former football coach remembering the teenager as someone who had a bright future and made everyone smile.
The smile he had was $1 million smile, and he just made everybody around him, man, just happy and better. It's a devastating moment for everybody that know Nolan and, just love Nolan. And, man, and we all got to come together and be strong for Nolan.
And the family attorney says Wells was an elite athlete and could swim. They plan to have their own private investigator interview witnesses. Guys?
That's right, because they don't want speculation, they want investigation, and that is what they're asking for. Alex, thank you for staying.
So, let me see here. Sorry, Silk, I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully we can get this straight. The issue here with all of this is that a lot of the stuff with the timeline is not adding up. Obviously, he didn't go. One of the Cajun Navy groups stated that it could not have gone too far out in the water, because if it did, it would have swum up further into the channel, and for it to come back to the tip of it, it obviously didn't come back, go too far. A little bit of information for those who are not familiar with Horn Island. It's a barrier island 10 miles off the coast down there. I've been around it before. It's a very pretty area. He was last seen around 3 p.m., but around 4:30 they left him. Why? And I'm still trying to understand. He's a young kid, Generation Z, or what have you, going to leave their cell phone and things, and then they found the cell phone with all the text messages, and just the phone wiped clean, and they brought the phone back to them. So that bothers me. Also, I'm concerned, like, if that's the case, and they may not have a password. We don't know yet if they got to it or not. But usually, you have that stuff backing up into the cloud. So obviously, at some point, parents may not have access to their kids' passwords to their phone, and maybe don't know yet. But that's what it comes off as, and they can't get access to the cloud. Apparently, there was an argument filmed, and we don't know what's going on. And the mother contacted that night around midnight that the child did not come back home. And the park ranger around 8:45 on the 6th, 2 days later, almost not 48 hours, about 36 hours later, found the body. The United Cajun Navy VP Brian Trasher, who was flying over during the recovery, said to believe the waves washed the body up on the beach. Not the official finding, but that's just from their experience and what they do in the area. Again, Ben Crump was detained, and if anybody has any information, the tip line is area code 228-769-3065. Again, that's 228-769-3065. Of what we know so far, and I'm going to go over some rules that we need to start talking with our families about, but what we know so far, and also based on that video, Ms. Linda Chain, what do you think?
In terms of rules, first and foremost, we go together, we come back together, right? Teaching our children to discern and identify who is truly a friend, like Russell said, right? This is something that starts from home, from young. And in terms of his cell phone, I believe that he had a passcode on it. That's my personal opinion. He had a passcode on it, on his phone. And I think possibly one of his friends may have seen it, or he shared it with someone. How they managed to erase his phone, someone had to do it. Because, when you're that young, what's the saying that they have? If you don't record it, it didn't happen, right? So there's no way he's just going to erase the entire event.
Right, and the entire phone, and so forth. I got rest of y'all answer about the details. I got a whole list of rules I'm going to go into in a second. But Marcus J, what are your thoughts?
Man, you just don't separate from your peoples, man. And I know that young folks a lot of times don't see race and everything, and perhaps we're jaded. I can't speak for everybody. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm in the 50s. And just the way we was raised up, like, you don't just separate. It's one thing if you at the crib, you know what I mean? You at the crib, you in a familiar space, and we went to the bar together, and, you as brothers, like, you sure you good? All right, I'll see you later. It's different when you got on a boat, man. Like, you got on a boat, and you went 10 miles out. Like, you can't just get back. You know what I'm saying? And even if, nothing nefarious happened with his friends. I mean, I'm not saying that it did or it didn't. I don't know. But even if it didn't, you bear responsibility because you left him. And you not saying nothing? Like, we don't know. Like, we don't know for real. Like, it's just fishy. And then you add the racial part to it. Yeah, I just happen to be a person who sees race in just about everything because America is inherently racist. And, white folk try to act like that's not what it is. And they'll try to act like it's something wrong with you when you point out the obvious. Cool, whatever. I don't care what you think.
To add to that, Marcus, the whole fact that these same children he went with still have yet to make a statement of their own.
Come on.
They have not posted on their social media at all.
Come on. Your mama's a judge. She know what it is. Like she know what it is, and she didn't put you in a position where you can help the authorities find out what happened to your friend. Come on, man. We know what it is. Whether we get the truth or not, we'll find out later. But we know what we know what it is.
The one thing I want to make clear.
I want to say something, Mr. LP. I want to say something on what Brother Marcus just hit on, where he was like, well, white people, they know what it is or whatever. But let's talk about black people. Y'all know what it is, okay? And I'm really like I'm in the same neighborhood with Marcus. We need to start calling people on their shit. The bottom line is it's racist, okay? The whole thing was handled. If there was a white boy that was missing on anybody's island, if he had went with 4 black friends, that all of their asses would be detained and being interrogated, probably would. Let's go back to the Central Park 5, y'all. Okay, so like it's racist. Okay, let's just call it what it is. The bottom line is you may lose an ink pen, women may lose an earring. You don't lose a whole friend. You don't lose a whole body, okay, or whatever. And then to go back home, like, oh, well, forget it, and just go back home. And then a couple of hours before you even say that somebody, you know what this is. Somebody knows what it is. Somebody in that group did something or know who did something. And the bottom line is that we need to start having transparent conversations with our kids that every picnic is not for you to go to, because that's what it is, a picnic. It ain't a cookout. Okay? And I mean that with all, it's a picnic. It's not a cookout, okay? And so, you know, they were first of all, let's just tell the truth. How many kids you see without their phone? They have that crap glued to them or whatever, like it's crazy glued to their hand. They don't go nowhere without their phones. They record everything. They take pictures of absolutely everything. So it's convenient for y'all to take your politically correct picture of the token Negro in the middle, right? When y'all got to the island, before y'all got into all of the festivities, but then all of a sudden, everything is white, clean. And let's go back to his mother is a judge. His mother has contacts or whatever. And yeah, his parents may not have access to it, but the law enforcement absolutely has access to it. And so my question is, was it really white clean? Or was it said that it was white clean? Or who scrubbed it? Okay. And so I think that everybody in that jurisdiction, hands is dirty. I think that those boys need to be held and detained and interrogated because somebody knows something that went on. I just even find it mysterious, like how his body was just discovered. And like Marcus J said, if there's no water in this young man's lungs, that's an easy 1, 2, 3. If there's no water in his lungs, if there's no signs of water intrusion to the body, you can tell that by the ears, you can tell that by the webbing of the fingers, the hands. Those are automatic things that they can tell before an autopsy. Then we know that something definitely is wrong and that he was strategically placed there.
Exactly. And there's more to it. More's going to come down the line. I felt like they should have kept these kids in confinement and locked up, but of course they're not going to do that. Even though they're all adults, 18 and above, and they're all college students, I believe. If they would have did that, somebody would have started squealing and talking real fast. The mother knew what she was doing. If anything, the mother should have kept her mouth shut, but she felt like she had to do something to try to clear her name and go from there. Another thing, say that again, ma'am.
Just to add in, the reality is these are Nepo babies, right? They're standing on privilege, right? At the end of the day, this is how they're getting away. This is why they weren't detained, because they were standing on that privilege. And that, as everyone else has mentioned, is because they are white.
Pretty much. Now I'm going to go over something. Got 2 points. One, I'm going to bring up the point that I'm upset at our community about this outrage. I'm going to hold that. I'm going to take that head feather off. But before I do, I want to go over 10 points that, and I want to go over each one by one. real quickly, but I want to go with these 10 points about what we should start doing as a plan. I try to make this as clear as possible, and I have a whole document I'm going to show you at the end with some emergency numbers that we're going to also provide and have it on our website. And if it hit us up, we'll email it to you as well. But stay put isn't a plan anymore. A meeting spot is. We used to tell our kids, don't move if you get lost, but never give them a fix. The second you arrive anywhere, beach, park, mall, cookout, pick a landmark and say it out loud. If we get split up, you come here. Make them repeat it back. Your thoughts?
I mean, I raised my child that way, so I would expect that was just universal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not. I agree with you, but Marcus J corrects me all the time. Stop expecting everybody to think like us.
Well, I think what Linda, in expanding what the Queen said, it is universal for Black children. White children don't have to have those conversations. White children don't have to have the talk before they leave. White children don't have to be strategically placed in mentally to be prepared for the who, what, where, and why. And the other thing that we need to talk about, this is still Mississippi. Okay, let's just say that again. This is still Mississippi. MISS letter. Okay, it's still what it is or whatever and stuff. And okay, with the idiot in the White House, these dumbasses believe that the South is gonna rise again. Okay, and so it could have been something. It didn't even have to be those 4 boys. It could have been somebody else on that island that didn't appreciate that their island was being contaminated or infiltrated by us. Okay, let's just call it what it is. And so I just think that realistically, we have to start being mindful. We think that it's okay. And people go, well, this is America and it's a free country. And I should be able to go where I want to go or whatever. And I say, stop with that foolishness, because there's nothing about this country that's free. There's nothing about this country that's free. There's nothing. And then not only that, look at the symbolism of this, what everybody's missing. This happened on 4th of July, their 4th of July holiday, their holiday where they're celebrating their 250 years. And here's this Black child on their island celebrating with them. Why was his Black ass out there celebrating 4th of July in the first place? Let's have that conversation.
Because again, adjacent and privilege. And
it's like you said, we don't have those. It's also like you said, Silk. He was the popular kid. He was the quarterback or whatever position it was he was playing in football that made him the superstar, right? So having him there was
that's the flag.
Yeah, he was the token nigga, plain and simple. Forgive my language, but it is what it is.
True. The second one is we teach don't talk to strangers, but not which stranger to run to. A scared kid freezes because every adult looks the same. Teach them safe strangers hierarchy. A uniformed worker, then a mother with her own kids, name it before the trip, not after they get lost. Okay. The third one, we let the phone be the plan, then it dies, or there's no signal, and the child's got nothing. The fix, make them memorize your number and one backup. Old school, out loud in the car, right on the inside of the shoe or wristband for the little ones. Face tracing, we talked about this one time, Silk, about, we said, kid lost, who's your mom? Well, mama, what's your mom's name? Mommy. Teach your kids your mother's name, your father's name and stuff like that because of situations like this. Marcus.
But I think Mr. LP in this instance, I'm sorry, Brother Marcus, I didn't mean to cut over you.
No.
In this instance or whatever, this is all perfect. And yes, we've had these conversations. Marcus has had these conversations, but we're referencing children. These were not children. And all of these murders were adults, okay? They were adults. The young lady was a grown woman with grown women having wine and cheese 1 minute in pajamas, and the next minute they find her inadvertently dead on the front porch. The young man was getting ready, Kendrick was getting ready to graduate high school, and they find him rolled up in the carpet. Like, how could he roll himself up in the carpet? That doesn't even make sense. This young man is 18, so there's a different set of rules and a different set of engagement for them, because these are adults. These are not children. They we've already bypassed those rules that we're talking about. Okay. So now we have to educate our young adults what spaces they need to go into. We educate our young women that, okay, we were educated when I got old enough to go out that if you're in a nightclub and you have a drink, if you don't finish it and you walk away from it, it's done. Okay. You don't go back and pick up that glass and continue having that drink because you don't know if somebody did anything, to you. I mean, I just had a young lady who I care about a great deal. She's like my daughter, experienced this in a club, and she was with over 15 people. Okay, she was over with 15 people. It ended up being slipped something that could have potentially caused her some serious harm. So the conversation has to be different when we're talking to our adults. And I think Marcus J would be the perfect person because he has a young adult daughter. I know how he is about his daughter. So could I tell us the conversations that you had to have with baby girl when you knew she was going off to college and she was going to be out there in the world, no longer you only a phone call away, but she still got to be able to make that phone call.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, I'm glad you brought it up that way, sister, because she's 23. She moved out about a year ago, and she's only an hour away, but she moved out about a year ago, and so she likes to talk about how she hangs out and what she's doing and the fun she's having. And I remember being in that space, but it's different. The world is different. Like you mentioned, the young sister or the person who got slipped something out in the crowd, with her peoples and still, had a situation. It's like, it's horrifying, to think about the prospect of these things. Like you do the best you can to shield your children with all of the information, but at the end of the day, they got to go out. They got to leave from around you, and they got to make good choices. And you know what you taught your kid, but you can't compete with what they don't know. And a lot of times it's got to do with who you with. And, maybe nothing nefarious happened. I don't know. Like I said that earlier, I want to be fair because as Black people, that's what we tasked with being. We always the one that's got to be the high road fair people, like them white supremacists out there marching on the 4th of July and the rain bring them into the Black Museum that they didn't even want. You know what I mean? I know that's not what we're talking about, but this is what I'm talking about when it comes to how we always got to be the ones to cover. We always the ones to cover. We always the ones to take care and make excuses and all that kind of stuff. Then when something happened to us and we expect our friends to advocate for us, ain't nobody got nothing to say. These your boys. Where your boys at? You know what I'm saying? Then so you get somebody like me who talk like how I talk with a furrowed brow and anger in my voice about some racial shit because I'm tired of seeing it. And I don't care if it hurts your feelings. It hurts mine. The same thing all the time, yo. It's always the same stuff. I'm the same age as the Central Park 5. I remember when it happened. I remember my father growing up in Jersey City telling me, don't be going over there in the city. This was even before that happened. Don't be going over there in the city because you don't never know what's going to happen.
Let me chime in on. I agree with you. When I develop these things, they were for both young and old, and I could apply. I may say the word kids, but these are things that we should apply to both young adults because let's be honest, a lot of these kids today, 18, 19, 20, are not raised. We can't assume everybody was raised the same way. We can't assume that every 18-year-old is the same as one 18-year-old or another 18-year-old. We have to be mindful of that. And to Marcus' point, yes, or to your point, Silk, that yes, we got to keep tabs. I know when I was living for downtown Richmond, Marcus' daughter was going to school. I think I asked him, I said, hey, if she, not that he can't reach his dad, of course he'll get there in a second, but if something happened, I think I told him, let me know. I'm right there. It's just the aspect of looking out for each and every person. So when I say kid, I use the word loosely, but these are some of the things because there are a lot of young adults. Again, don't use, like you said, they have a cell phone but don't memorize phone numbers. They don't know to say, okay, be rude and what have you. I was always raised to say be polite, but sometimes you have to step up and be rude to get that attention when it comes to somebody's life safety. So those things are important. I want to hit up, I got 3 slides of them. I'm not going to hit them all up, but one of them I'm going to say is that, situational awareness. And this is one of the ones I was thinking about, when you get older, because sometimes young ones may not get it until they get older. But we don't teach situational awareness from 1 to 18. We don't do it. We taught them to stare at the screen, heads down, earbuds in, obvious, ignore, but make it walking in anywhere. Where are the exits? Who's around you? Turn around, pay attention, mind your personal space. What feels off? Eyes up. Awareness is a muscle. Build it before they need it. And these are the situational things that comes up. That's very important. I will say that also. I'm sorry, I had it and clicked off by accident. So in case anybody wants it, I do email us at enlivengm@gmail.com or hit us up on our social media. I have a whole bunch of tips about safe to bring home and on a safe side for all the U.S. territories and states, emergency state numbers. You got your 911 and 988 situation numbers and what have you. I have this document available for everybody. So in case if you need it, we got it there. But the one thing I'm also want to bring out to the point in this situation is, and it may piss some people off, it may upset some people here in the panel, but I also want to bring up the fact that I'm not taking away from the attention that this case should get, or any of the other cases. But just like here and anywhere else, we have a rash. Unfortunately, especially in the summer, and especially as prices go up and everything else, we have a rash of killings of our kids and our young ones. And we talk about this situation. Yes, there's a racial element in this situation as well. And like Marcus J, there's always a lot. But we're not bringing the same amount of energy towards our local communities. Just here in Richmond alone, a child passed away, unfortunately, from a swimming situation. I don't believe it was an accident. It was neglect or murder. I still haven't heard the whole situation regarding it. In Baltimore, about 4 or 5 teens died in 1 week, in a few days. During the 4th of July weekend, a lot of young adults, both white, black, whatever, but especially a lot of our black kids got killed. A lot of black and Hispanic kids just got killed recently in the Miami Beach area. In southern LA, several shootings happened where about 9 or 10 kids were put into the hospital, and 2 of them are critical still. Where's the outrage for this on a national scale? When are we going to start and put our foot down and say enough is enough?
Here's the outrage. Here's why there's a difference in the outrage. Because when black people kill black people go to jail. When white people kill black people, we end up on a panel discussing whether anybody's going to tell the truth. And there's also a history and a legacy of them messing with us and us taking the high road, whether it be judicially by force or in our natural forgiving nature, that they just get away with stuff.
Right.
We don't get away with stuff. You know what I mean? Demographically, people harm who is closest to them. So this narrative that we always have, which is at the foundation of the question that you just asked, is always that we are harming each other. When if you just do the math, you'll see it's about proximity. White people kill white people. If you go to Chinatown, you're going to see percentages of murders and problems in Chinatown that's commensurate with the same in Harlem. So let's first deal with that. Let's first deal with that.
Thank you.
No, I was going to read you the stats. I was heading towards that, and I was going to read you the stats.
He raised an excellent point, because we have this conversation all the time. When I tell people there is no such thing as black on black crime, that's just a way to spin media. And again, because I agree with Brother Marcus, it's just proximity. Unfortunately, the media doesn't think that it will make a great news story to go to Chinatown and cover Chinese people killing each other, but they confine themselves to every hood when something happens. Number one. Number two is that our complacency is getting us in trouble. We done got too comfortable We think that because we get invited to the picnics and we get invited to the Christmas parties and we get to take pictures and everything, that these people feel the way they do. Like Marcus says, okay, personally, in this situation, I don't want to hear the black outrage because I know we're outraged. I want to hear where the white people that's outraged that some mother is mourning her son. All of the people that's going, well, I got white friends and they would do this. Where are they outraged? I want the white churches to start speaking up on situations like this in their to their congregations and airing it, because we already know we're outraged. We already know that as a mother, when I seen this, I cried for that mother. I know what it feels like to think that your child is not here because you can't reach them, and thankful when they finally come walking in the door or whatever. As a mother, you feel that pain. As a black man, I'm sure Marcus is like, my God, not another one. Okay, so yeah, we're outraged. That's expected. I don't want to see our outrage. I want to see. I think, and this is where me and my dear brother Steven defer, because he always wants to have a damn kumbaya period with everybody, okay, and look out for everybody. I'm like, take care of home first. I want to see white rage. I want to see white people saying, you know what, enough. This is not okay. I want to see white people saying, we demand answers. I want to see a white attorney say, I'm willing to represent this family and demand to get answers. We don't have to hunt down and overtax Ben Crump as the national black spokesman to get to the bottom of stuff. You follow what I'm saying? Right. When we get to that point, then I'll be comfortable. But I'm not. We're too comfortable with everything that's going on. So we've become desensitized to our own condition because we are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Most definitely. I was going to the direction. Y'all jumped the gun before I got to it. I was leading a track for it for a reason. But y'all jumped the gun. But go ahead, Linda.
To be honest, I just want to kind of address a couple of things that were said. In speaking about how a lot of children are going missing, a lot of children are black children are just being murdered, and we're not talking about it. That's happening here, even in Canada, where black boys, girls are disappearing. We can't find them. We're hunting for them. We've created associations and search parties of our own. And it's not just the black children, it's even the indigenous children. And we're finding out that it's sex trafficking, right? It's trafficking. All types of trafficking is happening. These children are being murdered, kidnapped, and assaulted in ways that is devastating. And as a parent, much like Marcus, I have an adult daughter, and it must be my training in my security background, because I have been teaching her from the day she was born to now. Look out for yourself. This is what you do. Have those conversations. Yes, she's a black child. She's a BIPOC child, right? Black, indigenous person of color. And she has to be careful. I've taught her from the day she was born. You are not like them. So you have to always be one above, ready, and on point at all times. You always have to keep your head on a swivel. So, that said, there is one thing that I don't know, Mr. LP, if you have on your chart, talking about angel shots, when the young ladies and young men are going out. If they go to the bar and they're feeling uncomfortable for whatever reason, something's happening for whatever reason, the angel shots, you can order an angel shot neat. You're telling the staff to walk with you to your car or to your cab or whatever it is. You angel shot on the rocks. You're asking them to call you a cab or an Uber or whatever. And then angel shot with lime is call the police. Now, this said, because it's Mississippi, right? Sundown town of its originality. What are the chances that this young man had, someone that he can go to and say, hey, I need help? He didn't. And that's unfortunate, right? But to put those angel shots on there for the young adults when they're out there is important, I think. And these are the type of conversations that we do need to have, like Raw Silk said.
Very much so. What I was trying to get to is I was laying it out for a reason, because this is where some come into where my point is that we have to get to the point of stop relying on Trump or Sharpton or whoever, Jackson and others in the past because of it. Because when I wanted to explain it out to the point that when they say nobody's saying anything, it's not the case. The truer version of it is damning. The problem is never been silence. It's about amplification. Now, and that doesn't trend well because, like Marcus says, it's not the second term to get people's attention until we're behind bars, and that's what gets the attention. And that why the simple want to amplify a death by a white hand louder than a death by our own, and who benefits from it, and who are the other good stuff. Those are the things. The black on black crime thing is a trap. It's pushed on the news, but it's a trap. And this is where I'm not saying I made phrase things differently, but I'm not in a kumbaya moment, because I will call out BS when it needed. We do have problems where we are turning a blind eye to certain things, but all this stuff is a trap. One of the things I was going to lead into is some of the stats information that when you look at from the ages of the causes of death, with gun violence from 15 to 24, homicide with guns is a ranked number 3rd. And also with the situation that comes out there, the percentage is striking. And it's out to 88%, and 88% of that is against males. Think about that. And then also 79% out there, white victims killed by white offenders, where it drops significantly by black down. Obviously, we don't have the same amount of numbers, but I want people to understand that it's not it's not just by any old thing. It's inter and intra within our communities. Between communities and cross communities, crime is crime, unfortunately. And I wish I could not say that anymore. But until we get as a society to step up and step out, we're in that situation. I'm going to post that that thing what you stated. The angel shot need means just escorted to the car. On the rocks is needing a ride, Uber, Lyft, or call somebody. And then with lime means call the police that you're being harassed. If I recall, is that what you're referring to? Okay.
That is correct.
All right. Not a problem. But I'm going to jump into another section of this conversation. One of the things, Ms. Linda, are you ready?
No.
So just to try to change the scope of the conversation, Ms. Linda, I challenged her to come on the show. And Ms. Linda is a professional performing artist. She used to dance, but not anymore. Yes, she did. And so she just doesn't want to admit it. But she is also a professional singer. So I told her that if she's going to come back on this show one more time and things like that, she's going to have to sing part of a song, preferably a whole song, but part of a song. And just start the second half of the show. So I'm going to I'm going to put her on the spot right now before I get to the next part and let her know.
I was never a dancer. I tell everybody I have 2 left club feet when it comes to dancing. Can't dance.
That didn't stop you.
What was that?
And it didn't stop you. And
That's
tried.
true. It doesn't stop me. I still try to dance.
You kept on going. You took dance along with me.
I still try. In terms of singing, I used to be a professional singer. No longer. Though I am considering a return. As for songs, I will give you a chorus or something along those lines, a little jingle, but that's about it. That's all I've got for you today. So
I'm all about positive and reinforcement. So yes, you are.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. So pretty blue eyes, you know I see you. It's a disguise the way you treat me, yeah. Don't tell your friends that I don't mean nothing to you. It's a disguise the way you treat me. Yeah. That's it. That's all I've got for you.
You know what? You cheating out on me. That was not.
I 100% am. I won't even pretend like I'm not.
All right. And so you never know what record label could have been here and all of this and stuff like that.
Wow,
Just to let you know, FY.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus. I appreciate you.
Oh boy, you know. But FYI, Silk is related to several members in the industry, so she could have passed that on, but we're gonna let it slide.
That's okay. Still can get my demo.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Along with my 90%, we're gonna go from there.
3,
but
just for association.
Oh Jesus, that's how we do. Okay. Well, the next thing I want to talk about, since we're talking about resorts and things, one person sent me a message and asked, we don't talk about enough of I talked about Black cities and things in history that people may not be aware of. But one thing, since the summer, I was told that I did not address vacation spots that we should consider that's Black owned. So I said, okay, you know what? I believe we talked about it in the past, but I have no problem mentioning it again. One of the first places that we should look into is called Negril Treehouse, which is out in Negril, Jamaica. It is Black-owned, nice, lovely Black-owned area and part of Jamaica. And they dedicated a lot to cultural and relaxations and removing the silence out away from the noise. They've been there for about 26 years. It remains a quintessential vacation spot that push a lot with a lot of mountain interior designs, reggae music, and genuine hospitality that's very irresistible. And as you can see from some of the pictures there and within the photo gallery area, it's a very good place to really sit back and relax and have a lot of special offers and special features within the location. Has any of you, I know Marcus J travels everywhere, but have any of you visited this location before?
I've been to Jamaica a bunch of times, but never to the Grill. So the Grill is definitely on the list. Maybe I'll stay here next time I go to Jamaica.
Okay.
I actually have not been to Jamaica. Trinidad, of course, but not Jamaica.
Okay, not a problem.
Looks awesome.
Silk.
Yeah, I've been to Jamaica, but I haven't been to the Grill either. So it's definitely something that I would consider.
Okay, not a problem. The next thing I wanted to go over is I'm going to skip over is this one is called the Salamander Resort, and this one is actually close to home in Middleburg, Virginia, not that far away from us. Things. It is was taken over from some land many years ago, and as you can see, it has a lot of great things. It's one of the they say DC area, which is not nowhere near DC. It's over 200 miles, but still, it's in a nice spot where they offer a variety of different things, including one of their award-winning spa that have over 340 acres where you can do a variety of different things, from your weddings to your farms to other activities. And it's one of the quiet spots where you can play with your pets and animals and do a variety of different things. They have a bunch of pools with over 145,000 gallons of purified water, heated water, filtered water in your bathrooms, and champagnes every night in your room. Have any of you heard of any of these locations here?
I haven't. No.
I'm sorry. Say what, Mr. Marcus?
No. I'm just saying I haven't. It looks interesting though.
It looks very new.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kept it. They kept it out as much as they can to try to look as positive in things for a long time. But they've had it for a number of years. One of their major things that they have over is their spa and special promotions. Of course, they give you the lounge, the chairs, and special promotions. But they got tons of treatments now. Of course, I can't afford it at this moment. These are pennies to Marcus J. But they have state-of-the-art technology with Zents and Mandarin massages and a lot of electronic equipment as well. So it's ritual, Zumbas, yoga, a whole bunch of different things out there. Facials, of course, your standard medi-pedis and everything else out there. So it's a lot out there that's very much enjoyable that I think a lot of people will enjoy.
I'm sorry, Mr. LP, did you say that this was BIPOC owned?
Yes, all of these are, yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was the thing I wanted to make sure, because I was called out. I know I talked about vacation spots for us before, but I want to be fair. Now, the next one is Jane Tamiza. This is a very nice place that is out there, that over a space of 9 acres. And this one is in France, I believe. Lord Jesus, I don't forgot where this one is. Please forgive me, everybody. I believe this was off the coast of Marrakesh. I'm sorry, Lord Jesus, Morocco. I'm sorry, Morocco. So it's a very nice place. I've been to Morocco. I saw it some years ago. Did not get a chance to stop by and really get to see. We were on work time, but it has a lot of fresh fruits. They come in and serve you in the morning time, whatever you like. You let them know the night before, and they come early in the morning around 7 or 8 their time and cook it for you. Or you can come out to the dining area and eat underneath the trees in the morning times as well. And all your fresh liquids in here are squeezed every day fresh, so forth. They come out there. Adolo gazpacho, fish, pasilla, ginger served over a bed of jewel like Jane, pomegranate, sprinkled carcosus, and a lot of table desserts and things. So it's a variety of great information there as well. The next location is Spice Island Beach Resort, which is over in Grenada and Grand Isle area. And as you can see, it's very luxurious in terms of they will pick you up from the airport and the boat and take you to wherever you need. It's a nice vacation spot that's used a lot for the high-end elite, for those who are looking to have a nice honeymoon. I'm sorry, I appreciate the invite, Linda, but I can't go with you. So we try to do what they can. And just modern atmosphere, honeymoon offers, wedding offers, a day in the spice world, and they give you a variety of Spice Island, of course, to a lot of the different spices across the world. And unfortunately, Mr. Columbus and several other people tried to come there and destroy the area, but they rebuilt it to include a lot of cabanas, private pools, open air gardens. In fact, you can even plant your own garden while you're there if you want. It's just a bunch of wonderful places that you can go. And then the last part I will go into is if everybody go to this site called Jova Vacations, JOVA. It's called Joe Vacations, excuse me. They have a ultimate guide to Black-owned resorts around the world. That can give you a lot of fresh information, takeaways that people may not be aware of. And also they offer a lot of great inclusive information. They have several videos linked to YouTube that you can see to get a little bit more detail about where each location and how it's like, interviews and reviews of each room and how it's like. So starting from all the way back from 1869, these resorts have been out there for generations and keep on going. And luckily, they've been supported around the various communities. But I do believe that instead of watching what certain people do, everybody goes to Cabo, or everybody want to go to Dubai, but consider going out, spending their money and going out to these luxury resorts out there that are very good for our culture and support our communities around the world, our Black communities. So some great information there. Late thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Silk.
Yes, I'm just gonna wait for you to give me my check so I can book my so I could book my arrangements or whatever and stuff. So I'm just broadcasting that live right now. Passport is ready, so I just need my money.
So, ladies trip. What do you say, ladies trip? Because we know Mr. LP can't keep up
let's
with us.
do it.
All right, there we go.
Exactly.
Lisa,
Let's
Marcus,
do it.
you gonna join us too?
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Some of these places look pretty awesome with the, one of them you spoke of all of the wellness things that, are part of the facility. Once you said yoga, obviously you have my attention and some of the other things. So like when you go on a vacation, one of the things that I learned of being in the yoga space is that, and also being an HBCU graduate, everything is more special when it's just us. And that's not to say that we self-segregate because we have no choice but to come together. That's why when you go a place and there's 2 or 3 Black people there and amongst, all other white folks, you seek each other, even if you don't mean to. It's just a natural instinct that you draw to each other. So to hear about these resorts and these places that we would go to anyway. I mean, Negril is on my list to go to. So now I got a place that I could think of that's specifically, FUBU. So it's dope, man. It's a good segment here, Stephen. Good job, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a couple of. Sorry, go ahead, Miss Linda.
Sorry, I was just gonna say we tend to gravitate towards each other. We orbit around each other at all times. So Mr. Marcus,
like the color purple.
Yeah. Exactly, like the color purple. And I mean, we all love a good resort with a spa, a full body massage, like that. That's it right there. Relax, be one with nature. Come on.
Oh, they give you a full body massage in a cabana outside in the sand, and everything else all around and stuff like that. And then they play the music and various different cultural music around it while you're doing it as well, including the mud bath if you choose to have that. I had one of those volcano baths up there in Iceland. Woo! Let me tell you something. That was that was one of the best I've ever had in my life. So I can honestly tell you. But one of the ones also is Half Moon Resort in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Various rooms, a 2-mile private beach. I've seen this place going through the golf course, Escort Center. One of the great things that they have around there, they tell you the history of how horses were being taught and raised in the area, and how the various different things of the culture in the West, from indigenous and Spanish heritage, how really taught the history of horses there, and also horses in Africa. And spread out to the east, they have a great cultural history regarding that. And then the wellness spot there is really, really nice. One of my supervisors went there and never stopped talking about it. And he swears up and down he was going to move there. I never knew what happened to him, but I'm promise he's probably been there a few more times. But Joe Vacations is a great site to go there and to see a whole bunch of different cultural things. So I highly encourage everybody to please take a look at this as well, and so forth. So it's just something to share a little bit with. That said, darn it, where is it? Okay. That said, one of the last things, I'm not going to keep this long. One of the last things we try to cover is always a little bit of trivia and cultural history, which is very important that we teach our kids and such. So it's a little bit trivia. So I'm going to try to be a little bit easy with this one. But who knows who Everett Frederick Moreau is? Marcus J.
Name, but I don't know.
I don't know who that person is.
Oh, come on! I really thought you had this one.
I mean, I know a lot of stuff. I just don't know that one.
Okay.
Is he in media?
No. Well, no. Mm-mm. First person to, I'll give you last clue, excuse me. President Eisenhower. Okay. All right. Tracy was only 25 years old around that time, so she may not remember.
I'm just going to say this is around the time where I moved back to Canada.
Exactly.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Exactly.
That's cheating. Well, Moreau was appointed administrative aide to President Eisenhower and became the first Black to hold executive position within the White House. And today, in 1955, July 9th.
Oh, I wasn't even born then.
1955.
I was still a dream.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I wasn't even born in 1955.
Hey, I just wanted to offer a little bit of history and things. Well, let me give you another one for Black history. Now, I'm going to be really nice, and this one should be off the chain easy. James Basket. Marcus, come on. I expected him to get the first.
My phone was in and out. Say it one more time. I'm sorry, Stephen.
I said James Basket.
James Basket?
Yes. You know this one.
Okay, I don't know, brother. James Basket. That's not sounding familiar to me.
First, James Basket was the first male African-American male to win an Academy Award on this date in 1948. And he played Uncle Remus in Disney's 1946 movie Song of the South.
I'm always thinking Sidney Poitier for that answer.
These are way before I was born.
Exactly.
Well, these are very important moments of executive positions and phase, and these are spaces where
Sidney Poitier was the first, like Marcus. So, but then I don't follow the Academy Awards and all of them.
No, well, the point of it is to recognize where we exist in these spaces that we're at these times. They said we were not allowed, and they felt like we shouldn't. But obviously, our greatness rise to a level beyond reason, especially beyond race, to show that we can exist in all these spaces and do very well on things. But I will give you a little bit easy. A little bit one in this generous century, I should say. July 9th, 2011, Juba, South Sudan.
Are we talking about the airport?
No. Well, there's an airport there, but Juba, J-U-B-A, is South Sudan. This was a very important date in history for them in July 9th, 2011, excuse me.
Independence.
Good job, and things like that. South Sudan, the nation, they declared their independence in July 9th in 2011. Located west of the Nile River, the largest city in South Sudan, and they have a population of a little over 370,000 people. But it's been one of the more gradually rising locations for our people of color in technology due to this independence away from Great Britain back in the day. And the last name I'll come over with a little bit of history is June Jordan. She was born in Harlem in July 9th, 1936. She is a activist back in the day who set up the Freedom Riders in Baltimore as they traveled demanding the enforcement of the Supreme Court's decision on desegregation. She worked as a production assistant for the Cool World, a documentary film about how environmental changes could affect poor Black families in Harlem. which we talked about. It's not necessarily the more popular topics, but we don't talk about how the lack of water, the type of trees, the bricks, the environment, all these other different things, asbestos, and a whole bunch of different things they've done to buildings and communities. The same tricks they played up north, they played the same things down south and out west as well. In terms of our environmental history, environmental health has affected people of color, especially Black people. Was anybody familiar with this one?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Like 0.00001%.
Exactly.
No problem. Not a problem. Well, before I end the show, I want to just offer. I wasn't going to keep it long. I promised to try to work on the time and not have it 2 hours. But I wanted to give everybody a chance to speak their thoughts and so forth. So I'm going to go in reverse order. Ms. Silk, your thoughts?
Well, as always, I enjoy definitely verbally fencing with family and people I love. I'm happy that I got to spend this evening with Linda and Marcus J and you by default. But we just got to keep having these conversations. Don't think I didn't see those paperclip comments earlier. But yeah, we just got to keep having these conversations and not, I think, like Marcus J said, not afraid to have these conversations. Okay. Because they're much, needed. I'm sorry at this time that my brother is retired, but we're gonna need to pull him back out of retirement because the call has to be made. Okay, there's people, the call has to be made. But we should also be now preparing people to pass the torch. You know what I'm saying, for this next generation to sound the alarm. When we were having these conversations, the one scene that always comes to mind is Lawrence Fishburne in School Days when he's running out of the school and he starts yelling, "Wake up." And he start yelling, "Wake up." That's how I often feel, exactly, Marcus. I often feel like we constantly keep yelling, "Wake up." We wake up. We yell during election time. We yell now that a young man is laying in the morgue and without answers. We yell when people are sitting in their home, minding their business, watching TV and get assassinated in their living rooms. We yell, "Wake up," when women are caravanning to a new opportunity, a new job, and something happens, and then the next thing they end up dead in a cold cell. We yell. Right now there's a case that we haven't heard of that I want to talk about soon. That's a very good dear colleague of mine. Her brother was found hung in the back of his cab in his truck, okay, in Florida. This man is over 6 feet tall. How is that possible? Okay, and we've not heard nothing about it. But we have a young lady that was found hung Juneteenth weekend, okay, and we've not heard nothing about it. So yeah, we've got to keep yelling, "Wake up," and those listening. But one of the things that I'm gonna end with, and I used to say this when we used to be on the air before, Mr. LP, there are certain species of animals that we never got to see because they didn't make the ark. And so in that analogy, there are some people that we're just not going to be able to save, but we're going to have to try to save as many as we possibly can by constantly sounding the alarm and yelling, "Wake up."
Amen. I'm trying to find that story. It was back in April.
For who, the young lady or the young man? The young
man, he was riding on the back of a pickup truck in Florida, in Miami,
no,
somewhere.
He was actually a truck driver hauling and stopped at a gas station with his significant other, and she went into the store. When she came out of the store, she could not find him. After searching and searching, they opened the cab and he was hanging in the back of the cab.
Black people don't hang themselves.
Exactly.
Even if they want to kill themselves, that's not how they're gonna do it.
That wouldn't be our first priority.
Yeah, I mean,
Most of the time it's a gun.
Yeah, that was too easy.
I'm trying to.
They think we stupid.
I'll send it to you, and we can definitely dialogue about it next week.
They think
Not a problem. Not a problem. I have a very important guy coming in next week too. I want to jump in, but definitely that is a very important story. I'm sorry I was not aware of that. Sadly, there's so many. Even me, as much as I love to read and keep up, my focus today was trying to get as much clear detail for the Mr. Wells situation. Marcus J.
First, I want to thank you, Stephen, for asking me to be a part of tonight's show. Thank you, sisters. Appreciate the opportunity to build with y'all. It's been a good show. Kind of the foundation we talked about is this young man who has lost his life, and we'll find out what the autopsy says, and we'll go from there. It's a frustrating thing because, when I was doing my show regular, and I was a lot more aggressive about these things, I would sit and name all of the black people who had been killed by white people or law enforcement, in recent memory, and I would be able to just spit out 5-10 names off the dome. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's always the case. That was then, but you probably could do it now. It's like, and this young man's name just got added to the list. And I think those folks who try to act like the racial aspect is something to be ignored is the epitome of gaslighting. And that's essentially been our relationship with our country. We've been gaslit since we've been brought here. On the 4th of July, the symbolism of this situation happening in Mississippi on the 4th of July, 250 years of America, most of which we weren't even considered. And even in the Constitution, it's never been amended for us to be considered. So we have to be mindful of that when we see situations like this, and we look for resolution, and we look for our leaders to lead us. Someone said earlier about Ben Crump and Al Sharpton and people like them. Like, we have had our position in this country minimized to the point where oftentimes it takes a leader or leaders or leadership to be loud enough to get the message out. But the truth is, we really need to be on the ground fighting for this young man, and it starts with his family. And I'm happy to see that they are leading the charge. So I'll just leave it there. I'll thank you again for the opportunity to have this retired and happily retired person speak on your show.
He's not coming back out, Silk.
He's not.
I've had this conversation, and he's not coming out. Respectfully, I left him alone about it. But when he does come back out, I will be the first. I want to be the first guest on that show, and I ain't gonna say nothing.
Here's what I would say. Here's what I would say about that. Some athletes, and I'll use a sports analogy because I'm a sports fan. You got to rip the uniform off of them to get them to retire. And I was someone you had to rip the uniform off me to get me retired, but they ripped it off, and I'm retired. So, but I always love to do this and build because I'm still sharp. And I recognize that I still am, and I'm happy when I get to do this because the fire comes back, even if just for a short amount of time. So thank you, Stephen. Love you, brother.
Love you too. It can be very short and minute and things like that. It don't have to be to the level of detail that we previously had it, but I digress. I gave the man his space, but when he does come back out, I'm gonna be the first guest on the show, and I'm gonna sit there and smile and go like this and not say a word. With all 5, 6 left of my teeth. Go keep on going. All right. And don't worry. Hey, listen. All the things I said for y'all, don't worry. I got one for myself. I'm mad. They done sat here and kicked me out of the National Beaver Club. I'm very upset. So it's all right.
Oh, Mr. LP.
Yeah.
As always, a wonderful pleasure listening to you and your jokes. Ross Silk, I have relished the moments that we share always. And Marcus J, it was a pleasure to build with you and meet you. I hope that we get a chance to do so more often. To touch on something that Ross Silk said, as she was speaking, for some reason, I cannot have helped picturing and remembering the Million Man March. I remember hearing over and over again during that time, everyone's saying it's time to stop talking. It's time to start acting. We need to get into action. I remember hearing that we can't just keep doing this and then dropping the ball and never coming back to it. We have to keep the conversation going. We have to keep the action going. And the plan was to do Million Man March every year, publicize it every year. I know that the Million Man March did happen a few more times, but it kind of faded away. We're not having those conversations. We're not doing the things that need to be done. And here we are with Nolan Wells. We need to pick up the ball that was dropped for this young man. We need to make sure that his truth is told. And we need to make sure that any and every young adult and child has us to have their back, has us continuing that action, not just saying we're going to be in action, but actually the action. The time for talk is over. Like, we really need to start acting. So,
amen. Amen. I thank you so very much. I appreciate you coming out of the North Pole to get internet access to join us for today.
Not that far north, but yeah, sure.
Listen, this woman was way up there. I am going to let her go. But I'm going to, as always, I try to leave with a couple of positive news stories within our culture that some may or may not have heard. The Groveland Four finally got compensation, $4 million, 7 years later. Florida's newly signed state budget set aside $4 million for the descendants of the Groveland Four black men falsely accused of raping a white woman in Lake County in 1949. The families will receive $1 million each, closing out a decades-long fight that already produced prosperous pardons in 2019 and a full exoneration in 2021. More than 7 decades after 4 black men were falsely accused, their families are finally receiving financial recognition for the harm that changed their lives. Persistent pays, and families never stopped pushing, and the state finally answered. Unfortunately, but $1 million will never give back the life that these men have paid for a crime they did not commit. Federal appeals court this week revived a lawsuit alleging that state of Florida underfunded Florida A&M University by nearly $2 billion over 3 decades in a split decision issued Tuesday. This keeps alive a major fight over their chronic underfunding of HBCUs, and now the case gets moved forward rather than being thrown out. So by Florida over the last 30 years, they owed a whole bunch of money. And last but not least, HBCUs actually take a big step forward on a national stage for the Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend. As part of the All-Star Weekend in Philadelphia, HBCU Swingman Classic puts 50 Division I HBCU baseball players at Citizens Bank Park this Friday, July 10th, giving them exposure to scout and pro organizations. The players were selected by a committee that included baseball legend Ken Griffey Jr. and Phillies legends Jimmy Rollins is set to manage the game as well, which is a great thing that they're having. So then that way give them opportunity to play on a national stage, to give them opportunities. So, I went to UVA. I'm not ashamed of that. Happy for what I needed, but I'm always still giving the attention and the support that HBCUs do need in our communities. That is something very important. But last, family, I want to, before you click off, let me save these last few moments to you, because I didn't want to come here tonight just to inform you. I want to also charge you. We spent this hour on getaways, resorts, and some good stuff as well in history, and we should. Joy is our birthright. That's one thing that we don't get to talk about a lot is joy, Black joy, BIPOC joy, whichever that may be a definition to you. It's still, we need to talk about joy. But I need you to walk out of this podcast tonight hearing one thing louder than anything else. Protecting our people is not somebody else's job, it's ours. Let me say that to you again. Protecting our people is not somebody else's job, it's ours. Know where your kids are going. Know who they're going with. Know how they're getting home. And count heads before the boat leaves, and count them again before it comes back. When I was running STG, Sykes Talent Group, pretty heavily, and any group I go out with, I tell people when we have to meet somewhere, let me know when you leave. Let me know you tap me, let sure I caught your eye, let you know that you arrived. When you're ready to leave, let me know. And when when you get in the house, let me know. Those are my rules. Reason being is because if something happens, nobody want to care that these are just grown adults and I can do whatever. I'm in charge. I set it up. I expect it to go out and it behave a certain way. And I want to be able to answer justifiably what happened to your son or daughter. And I can look you in the face because that's just the rule. And it's not about fear. I'm not trying to ask people to operate in fear. That's not parent. I want you to operate with sense. It's not about paranoia. It's love with its eyes open, to be fair. When we say Nolan Wells' name tonight, not to scare you, but it's also to wake you up. Let his story be the reason your family has a plan and before your family needs one. Let it be the reason you never assume, never rush, and, of course, never leave one of ours behind. Because we can claim every getaway on this earth, the resorts, the beaches, the passport stamps, all that, but it means nothing. And I do mean it means nothing if we don't bring each other home safe. Travel smart, travel together, travel like your people are worth protecting because they are. That's safe passage. That's Live and Global Media Podcast. Thank you. I'm Mr. LP with Raw Silk, Marcus J, Miss Linda Maasia. Thank you all. Stay with me. But good night. Be safe, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.